can run on.
Hey everybody, I'm the Movie Man, and this is my spoiler-filled discussion of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Please be advised, this is a spoiler-filled discussion. I'm going to be discussing the ending of the movie. I'm going to be discussing things that happened in the movie. If you have not seen the movie, if you're interested in the movie at all, stop the video right now. I have a spoiler-free review that's up right now. If you're interested, check that out. If you want to read my written review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or any other movie that's come out lately, you can click on my Facebook link in the descriptions. I thought the movie was very good. I gave it an 8 out of 10. The main thing I wanted to discuss here is I've heard a lot of people talking about the ending of this movie, saying that they set up the third installment in this franchise, and I disagree with that to a point. I do believe that there is a third installment on the way, and I believe it'll be good. But what I want to clarify is the fact that the filmmakers actually ended this movie. They ended the story that they started to tell. There's so many movies these days that are left not only with a cliffhanger, but like it's continued, or like it's not a complete movie. The main example of that I think about was the Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I remember when I watched that and I left the theater and I felt really gypped because it's like the movie didn't even end. There was no resolution to the conflict. There was no end to the story that they had started in this film. They just left you hanging and waiting on the next movie to come out. This movie certainly didn't do that. It did end. It ended its story, and it may have alluded to the fact that there will be another movie, but it'll be another story, and they'll start a whole other story. When you're talking about the ending of the movie, it kind of starts when Harry Osborn turns into the Green Goblin, which I wasn't crazy about the actual transformation that he made into the Green Goblin. I thought it was kind of fast and I kind of felt a little cheap, but it was a really cool looking Green Goblin. He was really only in one scene as the Goblin, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with that. I must have seen different trailers for this movie than some people did, because I wasn't expecting the Green Goblin. I was kind of thinking when I saw Harry Osborn that maybe they would allude to that, or maybe lead into that for another movie, but I wasn't expecting to see the Green Goblin actually take part in this movie, and he does. He shows up at the end of the movie and has a key scene, and in this scene, Gwen Stacy is killed. I didn't see that coming at all. I don't think anybody could have seen that coming. But you talk about something that could be key in the third movie. This is a really strong vendetta that Peter Parker is going to have toward the Goblin if they decide to go that direction in the third movie. Originally, it was planned to have Mary Jane Watson show up in this movie, just for like one or two scenes, which kind of tells me that they're planning on going that direction in the third movie. So that'll be interesting to see what they do that, how they cast that, and how they portray Mary Jane in the third movie. I'm glad they didn't show her in this movie, because I think it would have tipped us off to the fact that they're trying to do away with Gwen. But I liked it better the way it was, where it looks like her and Peter are actually finally going to be together, and they've both decided to make this work no matter what it costs, and then she's just killed off like that. That was a very dynamic way to end that story. But that's what I mean by when I say that they ended their story. That was the story they were telling throughout the movie, is the Peter Parker Gwen Stacy story. After the death of Gwen Stacy, we see a very nice montage where Peter Parker is at her gravesite, and you see the seasons change, which he's spending a lot of his life there. And that tells us that he cannot deal with this. He cannot get over her death. And I was kind of afraid that they were going to end the movie right there. That wouldn't have been ending the movie. That would have been leaving it hanging. They had a great scene with Sally Field as Aunt May, where she's boxing up Uncle Ben's stuff, and she has a great line there, something to the effect of, "I look at it one last time and then I put it where it belongs." And you can see that that clicks in Peter Parker's head, and that's what he needs to do. And then that's when he goes back and he plays Gwen's valedictorian speech from the graduation. And that was also brilliant because the speech that she gave earlier in the movie as the valedictorian of the class, it made sense in terms of a graduation speech, and it also made sense in like she's speaking to Peter. And that's the way you hear it the second time, like it's Gwen talking to him and telling him to move on and do the things he's got to do. And then he suits back up and he stops Rhino in the very last scene of the movie. That's where they end the story. You know, they come back around to the resolution. When he comes back out in the Spider-Man suit, that is the closure. You know, that's telling you that, okay, he's moved on from Gwen and he's going to continue to be Spider-Man. Now, they did have a scene at the end where Harry Osborn is putting together this army from prison. That's kind of leading into the third movie, but, you know, I don't have a problem with that at all. I would only have had a problem if they hadn't ended this story that they were telling, which they did. So I thought this was a really good ending. I thought this was a remarkable ending, in fact. This ending here did a lot for the movie, in my opinion. Now, looking ahead to a potential third movie, there are a lot of things now that are open that they could do with this. They're obviously going to have the Green Goblin in the movie, and obviously Harry Osborn is assembling an army of villains. The main thing that I would focus on in the third movie is the vendetta that Peter Parker now has toward Harry and toward the Green Goblin. That's all I've got for right now. Stay tuned for my next review. You can check out my Amazing Spider-Man 2 spoiler-free review. And like I said earlier, if you want to read my written reviews to get a little more detail about the movies, click on the Facebook link in the descriptions. I'm the Movie Man, and that's a wrap.